This is Agent 001 from Autospies.com live at the 2007 Concorso Italiano, and when you come here there are so many cars you just don't know where to start. So if I'm going to start in one spot, I'm going to come here to the Lamborghini ring, because these cars have probably the most amazing aggressive look of anything on the planet. Something about Lamborghini says edgy. I'm faster, I'm cooler, I'm meaner, I'm more sinister than Ferrari, and someone who owns a Lamborghini has that same kind of an attitude. I'm better than you and you can't beat me, and I love that. I love that kind of competitive spirit. So we're going to be walking around the show, we're going to be taking tons of photos here at 2007 Concorso Italiano. Stay tuned, more to come. Well, one thing for sure when you're here at Concorso Italiano is there is no shortage of inventory here. And as you can see, this is just one section of the lawn here at the show with some of the rare Ferraris and older cars. Beautiful view of the ocean. Just absolutely stunning display of inventory here. And everyone is extremely proud of their cars, worrying about them and taking care of them like their babies, their spouses. Maybe even better than their babies and their spouses. I feel like I'm on an episode of Magnum PI here in Hawaii looking at these 306 GTBs. Come to the site, Autospies.com, for more coverage of the Concorso Italiano, Quail Event, and Concours d'Elegance for 2007. I think my favorite part of the Concorso Italiano show, I mean, it would be easy to say I love the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis because, you know, it's just wretched excess, and, you know, I wish I had the money to afford one of those. But honestly, the cars that I'm most impressed with are the Alfas. I think Alfa Romeo has one of the most unique, beautiful, timeless designs in the world. And every time I come here, I find myself radiating towards these cars. And I wish I could tell you the model of this car. I don't know enough about it, but I've got the owner. I know the owner of this car, who can first of all tell us his name.
Sam Hernandez.
Where are you from?
Watsonville, California.
Very nice. And tell us about your car. I think it's one of the most beautiful examples here at the show.
Thank you. You know, it was a car designed by an aeronautical engineer. It was the car that came after the Bat cars, and it used all the principles that were used in the Bat cars, the Berlina Autotechnica design, those very strange cars, one-off cars, and Franco Scaglione was the designer.
And this is what model is this one?
This is a 1959 SS Sprint Speciale.
Beautiful.
And they made about 1,500 of the Giuliettas and about the same on the Giulias.
Has a lot of the lines also like of an Aston a little bit, like a James Bond kind of style.
Yeah, and a Lusso Ferrari is similar to it in a lot of ways too.
Okay, walk me around the car and kind of tell me a little bit about it. I love, you know, is there a special name for these wheels? You know, I always remember the scene where Bond, when Bond shoots out the Mustang and the girl's like, what happened to my car?
Yeah, they're Barani wire wheels. They were an option on this car. They only had two options, the steering wheel and the wire wheels.
And one of his great lines in all of the Bond movies, when she says, what happened? And he said, it must have been a defect. So let's walk around towards the back. Very sloping, gorgeous roof line, hatch.
Yeah, because of the aeronautical considerations, I think there are no, everything is compound curves. This cam tail was an innovation that happened with this car, this cutoff. Again, they were studies that then they put these little felts taped onto the car, they drive them around, and they cut things off to get the aerodynamics done. They didn't have wind tunnels at the time, so they photographed them as they were going around the track.
Now tell me a little bit about the interior. I mean, it's just, you know, all the chromes. I miss all the chrome and all the little touches on today's cars.
You know, everything comes apart. You know, it's the toggle switches, you know, it has a real kind of a, you know, they're cloth seats with the piping. I guess it's whole gin. They've worked actually better than than leather or vinyl.
And can you tell me a little bit about the engine?
It's a 1300cc small motor with forged pistons, and it has these little trumpeted exhaust manifolds that start narrow and come out. They were sand bent in sand. It was got dual Webers, and
What would 0 to 60 be on a classic like this? I mean, I know that, you know, it's not going to be impressive in today's numbers, but in its day, what did it do?
Maybe 8 or 9, I think. I'm not positive. It wasn't an incredibly fast car. The next series, the Julia's, they put a 1600 in, but it wasn't much faster. It had a little more torque, but top end was the same. I think 127, 28 miles an hour. Mostly it was the high end. It was developed to be a racer, but it got a little bit heavy, and the overhang was a little too long, and eventually the little Zagato was the one that became the real racer. These raced, and they won a couple of races, but they functioned better as a Grand Touring, so they were really ended up.
And now, do you drive this on a regular basis, or is it a garage queen?
No. I drive it. I used to drive it to work, but now I don't drive it that much. I drive it on the weekends. I take around and drive it.
And for all those eBay fanatics and auction fanatics, you know, what was it worth when it first came out? And if you had to, you know, if you were to put it up today, what's this car worth in the market today?
I think they were around $4 grand or something like that, 59. And I don't have any really idea what I've been gone for about 6 months in Europe, and I don't know what they're worth now.
50, 100,
40 to 50, I would imagine.
Okay.
Cost you that to do it.
But you'd never get rid of it, because this thing, I mean, I can just tell by the way you're describing it.
I don't know.
This car's sentimental to you.
At some point, you know, it may happen, but yeah, right now I'm enjoying driving it, and it's fun. It's finally tuned up. It's finally tuned in, and it's nice. It's a nice.
And do you hide the Italian mechanic somewhere in the back trunk there? Is that how you
they're
get
incredibly reliable. Alfa's got the problem with Alfas were finding good mechanics. And if you've got a good mechanic, an Alfa's an incredibly reliable car. This car, it was a turn, put the engine together, started the first time.
And what do you think of Alfa making the announcement that they're coming back to the United States?
I think it's great.
I think they're going to do quite well.
And that AC is going to be a beautiful car. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much. This is Agent 001 live from the 2007 Concorso Italiano. Remember, spy before you buy.
Hey, Jim, you look like a giant baby in a stroller.
I am. He is. What are you doing, girl?
Walking around the college, all the Ferraris.
Buy something, I hope.